Hi, I'm Sally Bates and I'm going to take you through section B, the regular bridge fitting for your final qualifying exam. So this is my patient Mandy. First of all, with Mandy, we need to check that we're sitting at the same eye level and straight on. So if I put my hands on Mandy's shoulders, I can check that I'm straight. So Mandy, just look at the bridge of my nose for me. I'm going to perform a cover test. So no movement in Mandy's left eye, no movement in Mandy's right eye. So no sign of aphoria. Next, I'm going to choose a frame for Mandy. So I want a lady's frame, so if you can pop that on for me. And I'm looking for something that's a good eye size, so that fits down the side of the head and is quite a good fitting on the bridge. Now that's okay, apart from there we've got a keyhole bridge, and in this part of the exam you want to choose a bridge that's either a regular bridge or a fixed pad bridge frame. So let's take a look at this. So here we've got a fixed pad bridge frame, but the eye size is way too small. So we'll discard that one. And if you try this one for me, that's better. So the eye size is good. Just pop your head down. It's in line down the side of the head. And up again for me. The bridge isn't perfect, but we've got to imagine that we're having this frame copied and it's going to be made with the exact bridge fitting for Mandy. So if we keep that on, we're going to measure Mandy's CDs for distance. So if you look at me, Mandy, and look in my open eye. That's it, good. And the other eye, great. And back there again for me, and there again. Good. So a CD for distance is exactly the same as the PD, except for it's taken with the frame on. So if you hold the pen for me now, Mandy, I'm going to measure your near CD. This is measured at 35 centimetres. So if I ask Mandy to hold the pen at my elbow, but in front of her nose, and all the time she looks at the pen. That's it, good. So I take Mandy's CD in exactly the same way. So I go outer iris to inner iris, but all the time Mandy looks at the pen. That's lovely. To check convergence, we can check pen to nose. So Mandy, if you look at the pen and I bring it into your nose, we can see Mandy has only slight convergence. So we don't expect a big difference between distance and near. So now I'm going to take Mandy's facial measurements so that I can make a handmade frame. So first of all, the crest height. So for this measurement we have to be at eye level with each other. So if you look at me, Mandy, I drop and the rule stops on the crest of the bridge. And I hold it with a 5-degree tilt and I read down through the pupil centre to the lower lid. And it measures 5. I do the same for the other eye. Drop and stop, down to the lower lid, 7. So when I look at Mandy, there is a slight difference in her crest heights. So 5 and 7, the average being 6. Next I'm going to measure Mandy's projection. So I put the cursor on the rule with the window uppermost, and I ask Mandy to turn to face the board for me. That's it. And if you follow my finger, please. Good. Okay, so I'm checking to see if Mandy's eyelashes come out more than the bridge of her nose or not. And they do. So that shows she's a negative projection. So I place the rule flat onto the crest and then I just dip the end, and that effectively gives me the 10 degrees pantoscopic tilt that the frame will sit at on the face. So blink, blink, blink for me, Mandy, and tell me when you feel this touch your eyelashes. So big blinks up and down to the ceiling. Can you feel it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you stop when the patient feels it. So that reads -2. The next measurement is the distance between rims at 10 and 15. So I take the cursor off, flip and put it on so it makes the box. So I want a 3-point touch with the cursor. So Mandy, if you close your eyes, that's it. So 1, 2, I'm going to squeeze this in to give me the 3-point touch. So it reads 16. So Mandy's DBR at 10 is 16. And I turn round and measure a DBR at 15. So realistically, I'm expecting it to be 4 or 5 millimetres bigger. So again, 3-point touch. 1, 2, 3. Just a little bit tighter. So Mandy measures 23. So that's a bit bigger than what I expect. But if we look at Mandy's bridge, it's quite slim here at 10 below crest. And then we do get a bit of width there with the bone structure. So the next measurement is the apical radius. So start big and work your way down. So 10 is quite good. 9's a little bit tight. So I would order a 10 apical. Then I'd record the side details. So these sides are drop end, but I need to know the length to bend and the total length of side. So if you can face the wall for me, thanks. So I measure length to bend from the dowel point, so that's where the screw is, to the ear point. So Mandy's ear joins the head at 85. I would order the bend at 90. So right length to bend, 90. And if you turn for me, measure the left length to bend. So again, dowel point to ear point. So on this side, 95. So a slight difference, and we can check that. So if you turn back to me, that's it. And I put one finger on one ear and one on the other. And if you put your head down for me, Mandy, I can see that the right side is further forwards than the left. And so I've got a difference in length to bend. So the standard length of drop is 35 millimetres. So the total length that I would order for the right side is 125, and for the left side, 130. The next measurement is the angle of side. So if you can turn that way for me, and we'll just put your hair behind your ear, that's it. For angle of side, for a handmade frame, we would measure the pantoscopic tilt. So that's the tilt of the face. So I place the rule on the ear like a pair of specs sit. Now, I can't see Mandy's eye anymore, so I need to tilt the facial rule accordingly, and I put the 0 on the tip of the eyelashes, and I drop the angle through the top and bottom eyelashes. And I read the inner scale here. So that reads 10 degrees. So I expect the pantoscopic tilt to be between 8 to 12. So 10 is perfectly acceptable. And my last measurement is the head width. So I'm going to measure ear point to ear point. And Mandy measures 14.5 centimetres, but I want to record this in millimetres. So that's 145. when I order the frame to be made, I want a close fitting down the side of the head. So I would compensate the head width and order 135 comp. So that means that I've deducted 10 millimetres for a close fitting. So my last step when ordering the regular bridge frame is to take the fitting fronts, and I want to find 2 fitting fronts that match my measurements. So the first one, I want to match my crest height and my apical radius. So if I go down the list of measurements, I can see that I haven't got an apical radius of 10, but I have got an apical radius of 9. So I've got a crest height of 5 and an apical of 9. So we'll try that as a start. So when I put on the fitting front, I'm looking to check, first of all, if Mandy's eyes are top, middle or bottom. Now that is a very good fit on Mandy because the crest height is excellent because her eyes are through the horizontal centre line of the frame. So that shows my crest height is correct. On the apical, I've got a tiny gap on the bridge. I'm not looking at the DBRs because they're too wide. You can see those moving there. But that apical is just a tiny bit too small. So I'm going to keep my measurement for the apical at 10, but I'm going to change my crest height to 5. Now I keep that out for the examiner to have a look at. And then I choose a second fitting front with similar distance between rims to what I measured. So I recorded 16 and 23. So there's an 18 and 23, a 16 and 20, a 16 and 22. So I'm going to take out number 7 and pop this on. So I know that that's a good fit because it stays on its own. So all I'm looking at this time is down the sides of the bridge. So when the examiner comes to sit with me to ask me questions, they're going to say, why have you got these frames? So first of all, this is the frame to be copied because the eye size is right, it's in line with Mandy's head. The bridge measurement isn't too bad, but it's not perfect. I kept this frame out for crest height and apical radius because Mandy's eyes are in the middle, and it's the nearest measurement I can get for the apical radius. And the second frame I've kept out for DBRs because that frame stays on its own. That's it.